by British soldiers. Witness Joe Tallant describes what he saw.
Walking around with the weapons and just saying the most randomest things that anyone could ever say, saying that men are not going near the body, only women, saying this is what God would have wanted, and then they was telling people to video record them doing it.
Police shot both suspects after they charged at officers. Both are in custody in hospital. Prime Minister David Cameron returned early from a trip to France to chair an emergency meeting. He said many details were still being investigated, but said Britain would respond resolutely.
This was not just an attack on Britain and on the British way of life. It was also a betrayal of Islam and of the Muslim communities who give so much to our country. There is nothing in Islam that justifies this truly dreadful act.
Both attackers are reported to be British citizens of African origin and had converted to Islam and were known to security services. Security experts say the attack bears the hallmarks of a so-called lone wolf attack. Raffaello Pantucci is from the Royal United Services Institute.
Of course, at this point, we still don't have a complete picture. However, it increasingly looks like we're dealing with an attack of individuals who decided to launch an attack that it would be surprising if it turned out that they're heading out of the direction.
The first fatal terror incident since 2005 comes just a month after the bombings at the Boston Marathon in the United States, an attack carried out by radicalized US citizens. Pantucci says the method of carrying out terrorist attacks is changing.
In recent years, we have seen a growing trend towards these sorts of lone actor or small cell attacks, where you have these individuals who in some cases may actually prove to have connections abroad, but there's no evidence necessarily that there was any direction from abroad.
One of the attackers is in a serious condition. Investigators are waiting to question the two men under armed guard in hospital. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.
Mozambique is poised for a natural resource boom on the back of huge coal and natural gas discoveries. But new sources of wealth are often bad news for the communities living closest to where these resources are found. A new report by Human Rights Watch highlights the plight of more than 1,400 families who were moved to make way for Brazilian and Australian coal mining operations in the province. Jesse Jackson reports for VOA from Maputo.
Human Rights Watch says Brazilian and Australian companies did build new homes for displaced people in resettlement areas. But, it says, in many cases, the people lost the ability to grow food and ended up relying on the foreign coal companies for handouts. The scramble for coal in Tete Province began in 2006 as Brazilian company Vale moved in, followed by Australia's Rio Tinto and India's Jindal Steel. Human Rights Watch researcher Nisha Varia, who made 3 trips to the area in 2012, describes how the lives of peasant families living close to the Zambezi River were affected.
Many of the people who were moved survived by farming, and they expected that they would be able to do so when they moved to the new resettlement site. What happened is that the land where they were moved is extremely dry and doesn't have access to the same water resources that many of them, not all of them, had before. One of the biggest problems is that they simply weren't able to grow the crops that they were used to growing for their consumption.
One of the people Human Rights Watch the plot of land she was given in a resettlement area turned out to have all